Wow! Fucking bee just went in my hair. Jesus. Alright. So, maybe it's not a good idea to start the video here, I'm not sure. I might even just cut this out, I'm not too sure just yet. I'm going on a walk, and I thought maybe now is the time to just kind of update everybody about what's going on right now with the channel, with me. It's been quite a tough couple of months, I'm gonna have to say, in many ways. I'm gonna explain everything that's happened. Unfortunately, I can't go into like crap loads of detail on like every single thing because there are legal reasons for that, and I will get into that later. In fact, I think I'm going to start this video, I don't know if I'm going to do this part of the video yet because there's a lot of cars and stuff and I feel like they're just really loud. I don't know. I might just have it as one continual video. I might edit it. I really can't tell what I'm going to do right now, to be honest with you. You know, we'll keep it light for now. We'll keep it light. We're in Abergele. I'm staying with my sister at the moment. And she's been very, very good to me, actually. Very, very good to me. My sister's been a fucking angel, actually. In fact, all my sisters have. All my sisters have. Yeah. I'm in Abergele at the moment. I'm going for a walk into the hills. This is a walk that me and my friends used to do many, many years ago. When we used to come around here, we used to rove around these hills. Them there hills up there. That's right. Yeah, there's just so many fucking cars, man. I didn't expect this many cars to be coming up and down here. Right, let's get across here. Quick, before we die! Before we die! Okay. Oh, fucking hell, man. Anytime you want to cross the road. Oh, shit. Okay, we used to walk up here, but I don't remember these paths being so small. I also don't remember this being a road that had no speed limit. Maybe it's not a good idea to go this way. I swear we used to go up there though. I don't know. I don't want to chance it because I feel like I might get run over. Fuck. Okay. That's annoying me. Yeah, it is pointing. A brown sign. There's a brown sign that points towards a flag, which means that that's like a trail down there. So I'm right. There is a trail down there, but it just looks really fucking dodgy going up there. And I don't want somebody going like fucking 70 miles an hour around the corner where they can't see me. So I'm going to go up through this housing estate, and I'm pretty sure there's another way to get up there through here. If not, then I don't even fucking know, man. I don't know. We're not getting off to a great start in this video. We're not getting off to a great start. Hey, we'll keep pushing on. Keep on keeping on. That's what they say. That's what the black people say. Keep on keeping on. Ah, God. Really nice neighbourhood that I'm in at the moment. Not what I'm used to be honest. So there is a way. I can't remember if it's up here. I feel like I'm just going to be walking around estates right now, and I really don't want to do that. I actually want to be going up into the hills. This is really frustrating. I haven't actually been in this area for quite a while. I used to come here all the time when I was a teenager. Years on end I'd spend here with my friends, running around the hills, acting crazy. But seems like things have kind of changed a little bit since I last came here. Not this neighbourhood's always been the same. But just the way to get up into the hills seems to have changed. I think it's because the castle that's down there, I think they've changed everything, because the castle, you used to be able to go up into the castle when it was derelict, and you'd go in the castle and run around, but they've renovated it now. I think it's going to be some kind of hotel or something like that, and they've cornered everything off, so you can't go up there anymore, which is quite annoying, because it's really cool up there. There is a way. I don't know if you can see these hills behind me, but we're trying to get up there. We're trying to get up in those hills, boy. All up in those hills, boy. Get deep and dirty all up in those hills, you know what I'm saying? See, this is a T-junction, so it should be a dead end, but I get the feeling, I got a feeling that there's a way to get up in them damn dear hills. That's what I'm talking about. There better be anyway, because I'm going to be really pissed off if there isn't a way to get up there. This is so annoying. Oh, it's not looking good. It's not looking good, boys and girls. Fuck's sake. How the fuck do you get in the hills now? Wait a minute. I think I spot an alleyway. I think I found a way. Please tell me this is real. Please tell me. Don't worry, I am actually going to talk about some real stuff in a bit. I'm just trying to make sure I know where I'm going here, because this is a very weird way of getting into the hills, but I think, ooh, could this be it? Shit, did I just step in dog shit? No, I didn't. Good. Typical British encounter. Did I just step in dog shit? That's how we live up in Britain. Just dog shit everywhere. Okay, this hasn't taken me to a trail. It's just taken me to another, just another street. Oh, this is so annoying, man. I did not expect it to be this annoying to get into the hills. Oh, getting out of breath as well already. I'm so unfit. It's not good, guys. It's not good. Don't be like me. Don't be unfit and slovenly like me. Alright. I think we are getting somewhere. I'm pretty sure. I just have vague memories of being able to go through these estates, and that's what we call, you know, a bunch of streets, like an area. We call them estates. Fuck me. This is such a piss take. I might have to ask somebody. Oh, there's a fella over there. I'll ask him. Ask him and see if he can point me in the right direction. Excuse me. I'm looking to try and walk up the hills. I haven't been around here for a long time. I was wondering, I seem to remember a way to get up there from round here somewhere, but I just can't remember.
You go up here,
yeah?
That road, go to the left, yeah. There's a signpost saying you can get over a stile in it and go straight up there.
So where am I going there? Oh, just through here?
Just, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go back to the end, just turn left, it's behind that hedge there, the big hedge.
Ah, right, yeah.
And then you see a sign, the stile, just go wind your way up.
That's brilliant, thank you so much. I knew there was a way. I knew there was a way. Thank you. Yeah, thanks a lot. Alright, we're on our way now. He was lovely. Okay, so we've got some pretty serious things to talk about. I know that we've kind of gotten off on a bit of a light-hearted thing, but we've got a lot to talk about, really. Yeah, did he say left? I think he did say left, didn't he? Yeah, let's go this way. Right, I will spin this camera around, by the way. We'll have a look at some of the views when we get to the top. It's actually a really lovely area. This is Wales, baby. We'll be Wales, bitch. You don't know about this shit, boy. We're up in that country. But yeah. Yeah, so, right, sorry, I feel like I'm just procrastinating. I feel a little scared to start talking about this, but there's nobody around. I think we've got time. So you've probably been wondering, well, all three of you that watch this channel, you've probably been wondering, where the hell have I been? What have I been doing? Where has Christ's scourge been? Where's Salem been? What's he been up to these past couple of months? Well, bitch, I'm back from the dead. That's right. I am back from the dead. I'm saying that a little bit glibly, I will say. It's actually a lot more serious than that. 2 months ago, I lost my job, and the same week that I lost my job, the landlord put up the rent on my house, so I couldn't stay there anymore. I was looking at being homeless, actually. I was having a bit of a mental breakdown about that, and yeah, it wasn't going well. I was having a pretty bad mental health spiral off that. Really liked that job. Really wanted to stay at that job. I really liked the people I worked with, but unfortunately I couldn't retain the job, and I didn't do anything particularly bad. I was just struggling to retain the information about how to do certain things on the systems and stuff like that. And these things were important to remember. But I think I am actually undiagnosed ADHD. I'm actually pursuing a diagnosis on that. And I think this has actually been playing a role in my life for a long time without me realising it. And I've kind of put it off. I'm not saying this flippantly, by the way. I know a lot of people do self-diagnose themselves and all this kind of stuff. I'm not out here trying to make ADHD my fucking personality, okay? In a certain respect, I don't actually care that if I have it. It's more that I need the medication so that I can actually retain a job and improve my life, essentially, and just get the right kind of medication that I've always needed. Man, I'm going to be sweating like a motherfucker in here. Oh, yeah, let me show you the trail. Oh, wait, oh, that's a picture. Oh, I can't turn the camera around. That's annoying. Well, I can video edit on my phone anyway, so at a certain point I'll stop the recording and I'll turn some things around. But anyway, because wow, it is beautiful. You probably don't want to be looking at my ugly mug the whole time. So anyway, ADHD. Sorry, I'm so easy to go on a tangent. I think this has been playing a role in my life. I think it's been hampering my ability to maintain jobs. It makes me quite impulsive at times, especially when I'm feeling like something is really tedious. If I'm not interested in something, my brain like just shuts down completely. I can't even process what's being said to me. So I think this played a role in, I'm going to stop here for a second. I think this played a role in me losing this job, and it's very frustrating because you feel kind of powerless, you know. It's like you can't really get, and I don't blame them, by the way. I don't blame them for getting rid of me. I was a bit angry, I'm not gonna lie, but I was mainly angry at myself, really. But yeah, it's just these things are very difficult, okay? So anyway, I lost my job. Was devastated about that. And then when the rent got put up on the same week, I was just like, damn! This shit's like, you ever hear that song by Curtis Blow? These are the breaks! You know the song. And yesterday you lost your job. These are the breaks. Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. Yeah, basically that's what I'm going through right now. A lot of the stuff that they are talking about in that song, it's kind of what I'm going through right now, actually. And yeah, so the landlord put up the rent, and now I'm kind of in this shit hellhole of a situation I didn't want to be in. Now, fast forward about a week or two, and my mum and dad come to my house. I hadn't actually been evicted yet. I stopped paying my rent, and I went into arrears because I couldn't afford it. My mum and dad came round to try and talk to me about the situation. And at first the conversation was kind of normal, actually. At first it wasn't that bad. Ooh, a rock. I'm going to sit on this rock, you know. Oh, God. Oh, absolutely knackered. I love... hello. God. Oh, man, there's... this lady's walking past me. She's probably so much older than me, and I'm the one that's bloody out of breath. Jesus Christ. Alright. So... yeah. So I'm just going to sit here for a bit. Because I don't want to be out of breath the whole time. Oh, God. Alright then, so... so my mum and dad come round. And they want to have a talk with me. The talk's kind of normal at first. You know, they're just trying to figure out, like, what I'm going to do. And at that point, I didn't really have a plan. So... it was really hard to say, like, what was I actually going to do, you know, what was the move from there. My mum and dad didn't want to put me up. They couldn't really, they don't really have the room. My sisters can't do it either because they don't have the room. One of my sisters has a child, so it's just not good environment for that. It'd just be too cramped. So I was actually very seriously looking at being homeless. I had no money to move into a new place, which is expensive. Even around here in fucking bumfuck Wales, housing is quite insanely high, actually. The pricing on the rents and stuff, it's pretty high. Not as high as London and cities and stuff, but honestly, I've seen cheaper rents in the outskirts of Liverpool than around here. So yeah. Anyway, so this conversation between my mum and dad starts to turn sour, and I can't actually remember exactly how it turns sour. It's kind of usually the way it goes is my mum and dad just want to know why I don't talk to them that much and stuff like that, and why I have bad feelings towards them, and that's basically just because of a lifetime of abuse, essentially, that they have no remorse for. If they had remorse for it, then the relationship would be very different. If they showed real and true remorse and repented, then I'd honestly have no beef with them. I could pretty much forgive anything. But it's really hard to move on from these things when you see that the people have never learned anything from it. They just don't care, basically, just to put it very bluntly. What they've done. So because of that, it just makes it very, very difficult to connect with them and to just have a good relationship with them. So this conversation ended up then going south. I started arguing with my dad because I was trying to show his lack of empathy and his lack of compassion and lack of understanding of what they'd done, and he was doing it in the conversation that we were having. He was actually displaying it, and I was like, wow, you're not even self-aware, you know, you're doing it right now and you don't even realize you're doing it. That's the kind of stuff I was saying to him, right? And my mum had gone out of the room at this point to take a phone call because my mum runs a small business, and she didn't really hear how or why me and my dad started to argue. But she just came in and just assumed what was going on. But to be honest, we've had the same argument a million times, so I guess she didn't really need to actually hear it. But she come in, she sits down, sits across from me, and she says, "You know what, Salem?" It's not my real name, but she said, "You know what, Salem? You're not a victim. And when I was 14 and I started having sex, I knew exactly what I was doing." And that's what she said, exactly in that tone. She said it like word for word. Now, when I was 18 and I came out about my sexual abuse, for those that don't know, by the way, I was sexually abused. I have spoken about that a little bit on this channel, but if you want to hear more about that, which is very depressing, by the way, I'm not saying that you should necessarily watch it, but if you are interested, there's a interview with me on Ruby SpaceX's channel. I will put a link to that video in the description if you want to watch that. But anyway, basically, I was sexually abused, and my mum blamed me for my sexual abuse. This is part of the reason why me and my mum don't get on. She's never shown remorse or genuine, just genuine remorse about it, basically. And she comes in. Fast forward. I'm 34 now. My mum comes in the room. She sits down. She goes, "When I was 14, and I started having sex, I knew exactly what I was doing." Right? Literally that tone, that way she was looking at me. It was disgusting. And the implication being that when I was a teenager, I was a minor, obviously, so I think I was roughly around the age of 14 to 15 when the sexual abuse started happening, but the grooming started when I was a child. And so the implication is that I knew exactly what I was doing, basically. And this kind of removes a lot of the context of the situation as well, because we grew up Mormon and my mum didn't actually teach me or tell me what was normal sexually or what sexual boundaries that should be in place or anything. She was actually very fear-mongery about sex and stuff like that. So yeah, there was a lot there that, like, she removes a lot of context in order to be able to make her point, really. And it's also just a point that you should never say. Like, who would ever say something like that to their child? It's just, it's unconscionable. It's unbelievable. So obviously I got mad and I told them to get out. I was screaming at them to get out, actually. And I was calling them a liar and stuff. There was a bunch of stuff to it. And they left. And then the next day I spoke to my sister. And this particular sister is more well respected by my parents than my other siblings. And I was hoping that, because for the first time in my life, I've never asked my sisters to take sides, ever. I've never asked them to do that. Because I know it's complicated. We all love, despite everything, I do actually love my mum and dad. And so do my sisters and everything else, okay? So that's what makes it complicated. Family stuff is complicated because of those elements, right? And I'm very conscientious of that. So I have never asked them to take sides. But this time I did, because after all these years, I thought we'd gotten past this whole thing about blaming me for my own sexual abuse. But apparently we weren't. And I was at my rock bottom. I was facing homelessness, okay? No job, losing my home, looking at potentially being on the streets, losing my mind about what I'm going to be doing. And then my mum thinks it's appropriate to not only bring my dad around and everything, cause an argument with me, but then also to blame me for my own sexual abuse as well. It was just insane, okay? It was just an insane kind of situation. And so I asked my sister, I said, in fact, I can bleep out her name, so that's whatever. So I said to you've got to tell them this is wrong. You've got to tell them that this is wrong, and they cannot get away with this. Like, you've got to tell them that what they said was deeply wrong and hurtful, and I just really think you've got to take my side on this. And she refused. She refused to take my side on it. Not because she didn't believe me or anything like that, she just didn't want to have the confrontation with my mum and dad. Because she knew, we all know what it'll be. And then I just felt like I could never rely on anyone. I went into like complete nihilistic disassociation mode. It was quite insane. I've been pretty close to that kind of mindset before, but it was just like a switch went off, man. I just went insane, really. And so I blocked all my family everywhere. You know, their phone numbers, Facebook, whatever. I just blocked them all. And I wrote a public suicide note. I went out, I got a load of paracetamol, 500 milligrams, and I took a lethal dose, and I took half a litre of rum with it. So that's 500 millilitres roughly of rum while I was down in these pills. I had about 30 to 35 pills, which is quite a lot. That's a lethal dose. I think a lethal dose is between 20 and 30, I think. So I'd had about 30 to 35. I can't remember the exact full amount, but it was definitely 30 or above, because I'd already gone through a packet. So anyway, so I tried to kill myself. That's where I've been. I tried to kill myself, and I had to go to hospital. And luckily, obviously, as you see here, I am alive. I am well, so to speak. But yes, I am alive. I'm not dead. So, you know, could be a lot worse, I guess. So when I come out of the hospital, my family rally around me, most of them, apart from my mum. I refused to see my mum. But my family rallied around me, and we formulated a plan about how to change my life around, because I think for a long time my family have been kind of ignoring me, just kind of flailing around, doing all these shitty jobs, not being able to do anything with my life because all the rents are high and stuff, and I'm just, you know, you can't retrain in this kind of environment. You have to be constantly working these shitty jobs. You can't move up. And it's just not. And these partly of these things are my fault as well, by the way. I'm not sitting here saying it's everyone else's fault. I'm just saying this is the kind of shit situation that I was in. Okay. So I'm not going to pretend that like I'm just this innocent angel or anything like that. That's not how anything works. Okay. I'm aware of that. So my family rallied around. We made a plan. The plan was, we'll put a big trailer. For the Americans, it's a trailer. For the UK people, a static caravan. So it's like a big, long caravan, right? Basically like a small home. And we're going to put one of those in the back garden, in my mum and dad's back garden, because they actually do have a fairly big garden. And we had to sort it all out. We had to do a lot of work in the back garden to sort this out. And you know, they weren't going to pay anyone to do it because they don't have the money for that. So me and my dad had to do it. And we did a lot of work. We really busted our ass doing this. The first day we got stuck in, I went a bit overzealous, and the next day I couldn't fucking move because of how much work we were doing. Like my muscles were like literally fucked because of it. But we learned how to kind of find our pace. And we got it done. We got it all done. Now, during this time, while we're doing this work, while we're putting this caravan into the back garden, and this is my mum's idea, by the way. Let's just make that clear. This is my mum's idea to do this caravan thing, right? While this is happening, my mum is causing arguments with me, and she's doing it the same way she always does it. She gets me on my own with her, like in a car, you know, somewhere where I can't really escape, basically, and where no one else can hear us. You know, it's very convenient. And she kind of just strong arms you into these conversations that are, you know, she's more or less, she's breaking her own rules. Part of the rules that we had going into this was, and these are the rules that my mum set, we're not going to talk about the past. We're not going to keep rehashing the past and stuff like that, right? Which is what happens a lot when we argue. And I said, fine, that's fine with me. I'm not going to rehash the past with you. So I tried to stick to that. And if we have a disagreement, or, you know, maybe we're a little bit irritated by each other, that wasn't an excuse for me to start bringing up the past and all the rest of it. And I didn't do that. But my mum will corner me in these conversations, start bringing up the past. Start bringing up, I feel like you feel resentment for me and all this stuff. And I would say, well, I don't know, why do you think that is? And then she doesn't want to answer. And she can't answer because she knows what the answer is. But she can't take accountability. She's allergic to it, basically. And so she just always escalates these conversations. She forces you into these conversations, and they always end up into arguments. And then she uses these arguments as an excuse to then pull the rug from underneath me, to pull the plug on what we're doing, this plan. And she's threatening to put me on the streets again. She's basically, what I'm getting at is, she's using the situation as a power play. Now, if you know anything about narcissists, this is a pretty textbook kind of thing. It's a pretty textbook thing. They say they're going to do one thing, they won't do that, they'll deliver something else, they'll try to jeopardize things, they use things as a power play to get what they want. You know, my mum expects that, like, after 2 weeks after I tried to kill myself, basically because of her, that my resentment and my bad feelings towards her are just going to evaporate like that. No, that's not how it works, obviously. She never gave it a chance to even get there, and I was trying. Don't get me wrong, guys, I was trying, okay? I was trying to let things go, move forward, but of course those things take time. They take time for those wounds to heal, and I was just trying to move forward at my own pace, and I was trying, okay? I was trying to do that. I was trying to spend time with them. I didn't spend loads of time with them, but I did try and spend time with them. I watched some TV with them and stuff, and spent an evening with them. I was gonna cook for them one day and stuff. I was building baby steps, but I wanted to, you know, grow it at my own pace, and my mum just wouldn't let that happen. She wanted it all like that on a plate. She wanted to, you know, once she said she was doing this caravan thing for me, she wanted me to be like falling at her feet, like, oh my god, I can't believe you're doing this for me. That's what she was envisioning in her head. That's what she was envisioning, me groveling at her feet, basically. But unfortunately, she's dealing with somebody who actually has some self-respect. Maybe not always, but hey, you know, it's a journey. But she, because she didn't get that, and she wasn't getting that, what she wanted, she was causing these arguments with me, and basically threatening me with homelessness and all this stuff, which is obviously extremely cruel and arbitrary. You know, one of the arguments we had was about Tommy Robinson coming out of prison, and she even said herself, she didn't even know that much about him. But I said, look, I'm sympathetic to some things, you know, I'm not the hugest fan of Islam myself, but he's done some pretty questionable stuff. He nearly jeopardized one of the grooming gang court cases because of his antics outside the courtroom. Luckily that didn't happen, but it was, you know, close, and he's rightly criticised about that. He's also done a lot of questionable things in his private life, and certain things like scams and stuff like that. So I was trying to say this to my mum. I was trying to say, like, look, mum, I understand that you have a perception about things, but this guy that you don't really know much about, you know, you can't just go all in, believe in everything he says, okay? And I was trying to get this message through, but she cuts you off and she doesn't let you talk, and then all of a sudden she's a fucking expert on Tommy Robinson. Obviously she's not. What she's saying is all just bullshit, but in her mind she thinks she knows more than I do about it, right? Even though I've been following Tommy Robinson since I was like 19 years old. Okay? Been around for a long time, and she didn't even know who the fuck he is before he came out of prison, really. You know what I mean? There's no humility. No humility there. So, anyway, we get in this argument and then during this argument, because I was getting frustrated with her because she was just going on about this bullshit, I said something along the lines of, listen, Mum, Tommy Robinson is not the second coming of Christ, okay? I think I said something like that, right? And in that kind of tone of voice. Right? Because I'm trying to be honest and transparent here. This, you know, like I say, I'm not a perfect angel. I was getting annoyed. That's why I said it like that, right? All of a sudden, now we're not arguing about Tommy Robinson anymore. Now we're arguing about the whole of our relationship and the past, and you've always hated me, you've always treated me like shit, you're always speaking to me like shit, da, 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 da. You can't live here anymore, you're not bringing your stuff here, you can go on the streets, da, 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 da. And I blew up. Probably bigger than I've blown up in quite a while. I just went insane, man. I started screaming at her. I was like, you're a pathetic, horrible person. Like, why would you even do this? I was laying into her verbally. And she immediately called my sister. Now, if you know anything about narcissists, this is called triangulation. And she does this a lot. She's tried to turn my sisters against me many times in my life. And she was basically trying to get a hold on the narrative, right? She was trying to basically spin it to my sister that I was doing something like, you know, wrong or fucked up or whatever, right? But that's not going to happen. So I come in the room and my sister is on the speakerphone. So I come in and I say, and she can hear everything I'm saying. Now, I am shouting at my mum. I'm shouting at her pretty loud. But everything I said was true. Everything I said was true. And my sister was trying to be diplomatic. My sister's always diplomatic with my mum because she just doesn't want the shit aimed at her. And but the thing is, when she started trying to be diplomatic with my mum and she was trying to play both sides, she was like, look, really wound up, but you're also feeding into this too, Mum, and you got to realise that. She was basically saying something to that effect. And then my mum starts switching those tactics on her, starts deflecting, starts pretending like she's not a part of it. She's just like, she's never done anything wrong, basically. Everything she's done is ever justified, and blah, 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 blah. And I could sense Anna just being like, oh, what am I going to do? Not knowing what to do with this. So, yeah, it's just a shit situation, basically. So, luckily after this big argument, this big huge argument that we had, my other sister, Lucy, she basically she talked my mum down. She talked my mum down, and basically she kind of convinced her that we should go ahead with this move and we should do all this stuff, right? So we move all my stuff out of my flat and we get it into the caravan over the weekend just gone. Okay, so this is about, what, 5 days ago, maybe 4 or 5 days ago. We get it all into the caravan. Now, second night of me being in the caravan, I decided with my very youngest sister who is 19 years old. Now, she does have a learning difficulty. However, she is more intelligent and mature than you would think. There's definitely things you have to kind of be careful with her about, but generally speaking, she can actually understand and process a lot more than people give her credit for. Really, there's been various times I've been actually very surprised by her insight, and I feel bad saying that, but it's true. You know, sometimes it's easy to kind of sideline her and think maybe she just doesn't understand, but she does understand, and I'm sick of pretending that she doesn't understand. And she's becoming an adult now, and I think she needs to start being treated like an adult, basically. Doesn't mean literally everything, obviously, but you know, 80% of the way there, I think you could treat her more like an adult than people would like to suggest. And so this evening, with my very youngest sister, who still lives with my mum and dad, we watched The Exorcist together. And the reason that we were watching The Exorcist, because one, it's one of my favourite films, and I wanted to bond with my sister. But two, I wanted to teach her about like subtext and symbology in the movie, because, you know, these are just important things, important like kind of ideas to understand, that like these concepts of adding like underlying messages to things in like a symbolic manner, and that things can represent different things. And she was getting it, she was totally understanding it. She didn't get it quite at first, I had to kind of push her along, but as we were going, she did. Oh man, I haven't just stepped in dog shit, have I? Probably gonna hear me say that a few times. No, I haven't though. It's just a weird smell. She was getting it. She was getting it. And also, even though it's a horror film, The Exorcist is actually a pro-God movie, okay? It's, there's a strong storyline about a priest losing his faith, regaining his faith, and taking the demon inside of him, and spoiler alert, he sacrifices himself and dies, right? And he does this because he realizes God is real. Because, well, obviously he's confronted with a demon, he's confronted with a possessed girl, so he realizes, oh shit, this shit's real. So I wanted to kind of get that through as well. I wanted her to see that like horror movies aren't all about glorifying horrible things. They're often warnings. They often have religious messages against vices. Demons often represent vices and other things like that. Sorry, I'm getting a message here, but that's okay. So anyway, we watched this movie. We didn't watch all of it because halfway through my dad comes in and says that she's got to go to bed because she's got college in the morning. Okay, fair enough. She didn't actually really want to stop watching the movie, just to throw that out there. Everyone felt and looked disappointed. She was like, oh, do I have to? I was watching this with Salem. Sorry, I only said my real name again because I'm an idiot. This is what the ADHD does to you. And now my hair's going all stupid because of the wind. I'm so easily distracted, man. Holy shit. Anyway, so when Erin goes into the house, she's grilled by my mum and dad. What were you watching? She says, oh, we're watching The Exorcist. Oh shit, that hits the fan. So she comes in, my mum comes in, bursts in the caravan. Should have locked the door really, but she bursts in the caravan. She goes, what the fuck do you think you're doing showing her this? Why are you showing her The Exorcist? You know she can't watch stuff like this. I'm like, she's 19. And I was very calm this time because I knew I knew I had to start taking a different tact with my mum and dad if I was going to be living there. Okay, I knew I had to start taking a different tact. I can't convince them, I can't break through to them. They don't respect me. They don't even humanize me. They don't think I'm a human being. So, they don't have any concept of how I feel or anything like that. And for a long time, I've been trying to convince them. I've been trying to plead with them. I've been trying to appeal to their better nature. Sometimes, but not always. Obviously, there's been many times where I've just been shouting and laying into them verbally too. But trust me, I've tried it all. I've tried it all, and nothing ever changes. And so she's shouting at me, and this time I wasn't shouting back. I was just going, okay, all right. You know, just not really giving her too much, not too much of a reaction. I just said, look, she's 19, she's an adult. She can watch these things. Oh, she'll have nightmares, she'll have nightmares. So what? We have nightmares sometimes. You know, she's old enough, she needs to start being able to deal with these kinds of things. You know, maybe get to a point where she's not having nightmares because she watched a horror film. You know, maybe we should start thinking about that. Right? Trying to prepare her for the world, not insulate her from the world, which is what my parents want to do. And so I didn't give her much of a reaction, but she starts saying some pretty crazy shit that she's never actually said before. She said that I'm corrupt and I'm sick and I'm twisted. And she said, I want to corrupt my baby sister in the same way that my uncle corrupted me. Now, there's a pretty strong implication there, if you're savvy enough. She's essentially saying that I might potentially sexually abuse my sister. Now, she has some plausible deniability. She's trying to say that maybe she just doesn't think I'm a pure Christian person. I want to try and turn my sister away from the Mormon church and whatever. But that's not true. I don't want to turn her away from God. I believe in God. I don't want to turn her away from the church, anything like that at all. It's not my intention. I don't want to corrupt her. I certainly don't want to sexually abuse her. Okay? But I do think that is what my mum was actually trying to imply, to be honest with you. And I think she was saying that in that way to try and get a reaction out of me. I think she was saying it because she wanted me to blow up again. And then my dad could see it and my dad would be there. And she kind of wanted me to blow up again, but I didn't blow up. I didn't give her the reaction that she wanted. And she was saying, you're going to get out, you're not going to stay here. So again, she was threatening to kick me out and put me on the streets because I dared to watch The Exorcist with my sister. Oh my God, it's the crime of the century, guys. It's the crime of the fucking century. Oh, can't believe it. How dastardly, how devious. Sorry, I'm laughing because it's just so ridiculous. It's just unbelievable. And, so yeah, so, she says, you're leaving here, you're not going to stay here. And I said, yes, I am. I am staying here, actually. And she kind of short-circuited a little bit. I just don't think she anticipated me kind of reacting like this. I think she was making these implications, saying all this stuff because she really wanted me to blow up again. And then she'd be vindicated. She'd have plausible deniability as to, you know, oh yeah, we can kick him out. Now, fast forward 2 days. Now, 2 days go by. Nothing really happens. Okay, nothing really happens. I try and stay out of their way. I'm actually half hoping that maybe they calm down and realise maybe they were just being ridiculous, right? I wasn't anticipating an apology or anything, but I just kind of thought maybe they'll just kind of quietly forget about this stupid interaction, right? Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention, in this argument right at the end, my mum said, you can't hang out with your sister anymore. You can't hang out with your baby sister anymore. I can't trust you with her. You're trying to corrupt her, all that stuff, right? So she's trying to destroy my relationship with my baby sister, who I love more than anything, right? It even makes me want to cry just even saying that. You know, when I think about my sister, I just tear up, man, because the idea of not being able to have her in my life is just really, really painful. It's not nice, not a good thing to feel, right? Sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional now. What am I saying? Sorry, I'm just trying to calm down a minute. Right. So, a switch goes off in my head and I go, you are not, I didn't say this to her, but in my head I go, you are not going to destroy the relationship I have with my sister. It's just not going to happen. You can say, you can do whatever the fuck you want to me. You are not going to do that to me and my sister, okay? So, sorry, I didn't actually anticipate to get emotional like this. Okay, just hold on a sec. So I devised a plan. I realised that my mum and dad have developed a network of people who back up their worldview. And I thought, okay, I can't fight against them because they don't respect anything I have to say. But I can break down this web of people that they've built for themselves. I can break this down. So I start thinking tactically. And so I go to some people in the church. I go to the previous bishop. There was the bishop when I was growing up in the Mormon church, in our local church. And I go to him and I speak to him because he knows our family quite well. In fact, he actually came to help us with the garden stuff when we were trying to put the caravan in there. And I spoke to him and he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. He listened to everything I had to say. He took it all on board. He believed me. Even just saying that, I feel emotional. He believed me. And he didn't really know about my sexual abuse, but he had kind of guessed at what had happened because he'd heard certain things. And so I just told him everything, basically. I told him everything about our lives and what my mum's abuse had been like towards me and my sisters and all this stuff. And he said, okay, I'm going to speak to the current bishop, who my mum respects a lot. My mum really respects like authority figures and stuff, right? And she's really big on the church right now. So she's gone back to church. She's stopped going for many, many years, but she's gone back to church now. So basically I'm in talks with them to try and get them to speak to my mum and dad. Mainly my mum more than anyone, but definitely both of them need talking to, really. And so he's putting wheels in motion, basically, so that this web of things that they've sorted out for themselves, where it's everyone against me, basically. It's everyone against me. I can't have a support system. They just kind of build these kind of, what do they call them, flying monkeys, I guess. They tell very one-sided stories about me or whatever. They just kind of pretend that I just became evil one day and just started treating them like shit and whatever for no reason. It's very manipulative. And oh, somebody was building a den over there. So Ray believes me. They're going to talk with him, so that's kind of in motion. That hasn't actually happened yet, but I think it will soon. I'm actually going to speak to him, not the bishop, the guy who used to be the bishop. I'm going to be speaking to him tonight, so I'm assuming that I'm going to probably learn a little bit more about what's going to be going on there. Now, so that was the first wheel in motion. The second thing that I started to think I need to start doing was recording everything. So I didn't know, and when I was speaking to him, actually, when I was speaking to the ex-bishop from my church, I predicted to him that very soon my mother would attack me. That she would find some excuse. I said, she's going to ask for the keys to the caravan, which I had. She's going to ask for the keys, and I'm going to say no. And when I say no, she's going to attack me. Because this is how predictable their behaviour is. Now, I actually did get this wrong a little bit, and we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, you know. Anyway, I made a prediction, and I was basically correct, just with a detail altered, which you could probably guess, to be honest. Anyway, so anyway, had this conversation. I then start thinking I need to record everything, right? So, very next day after I speak to the ex-bishop, I then go. I have to buy a TV for my front room because there was just no TV in there. I had to sell my TV when I was moving out, and I gave a lot of that money all this stuff that I sold. It wasn't loads of money, but I gave whatever money I could. I gave it to my mum and dad to try and show gratitude for what they were doing for me, and I told them I was going to keep giving them money and pay them in rents and stuff like that, right? So help them pay this all off, right? So it wasn't like a complete financial burden on them. By the way, that doesn't matter. They didn't actually think that was gratitude, by the way, because they're very fucked in the head. So I think I need to start recording things. So the very next day, we're picking up this TV. As we're picking up this TV, my mum begins an argument with me. And she starts doing what she normally does. She starts an argument with me. And so this time, I recorded it. I recorded the argument. And doesn't make my mum look very good. In fact, my mum went completely ballistic in this argument. She went completely crazy. And again, I was not rising to it. I was kind of arguing back. I definitely, because I probably will put this recording up at a certain point. I just can't do it now for legal reasons. But at a certain point in time, probably a few months from now, I can actually release these recordings. But she was shouting and screaming at me. I'm not going to say that I definitely look great in this argument either, but I didn't rise to it. I wasn't shouting and screaming. I was calmly telling her about her hypocrisies, her double standards, the flaws in her logic. And she was just going fucking insane. She was going fucking insane, man. It's been a while since I've seen her go that crazy. She was like hitting the steering wheel. She was fucking screaming her head off, man. All in front of my baby sister, by the way. All in front of my baby sister, who was sat in the back of the car. She even tried to put my sister in a double bind by kind of trying to get her to pick and choose between me and my mum. And she said she didn't want to do that. And I just said, look, don't do that to her. You're doing that to Erin. Don't put her in a position like that. Yeah, my mum didn't like that. I'll tell you that. She did not like that. So we have this big argument. As I'm getting out of the car, when we got home, she starts threatening me. Not directly threatening me, but kind of, she's like, I do want to fucking hit you now, lad. So it's kind of like an indirect threat. You know, she's kind of introducing the idea of violence into the situation, basically. And I say to her, if you touch me, I'm phoning the police. If you touch me, I'm phoning the police. And also, I've recorded everything that you've said. And she didn't know I was recording. But then she suddenly, I can see the kind of panic in her eyes after that. And then she goes, you know what, you're horrible. You're a horrible person. You're so horrible to me. Your dad's going to remove you. Your dad, just wait till your dad gets home. He's gonna fucking sort you out. And I said, listen, if he touches me, I'm gonna phone the police. And if he tries to fight me, I'm gonna beat him up. Okay? So he better not. And I would only ever do that in self-defense, by the way. I would never attack somebody like that, ever. It just wouldn't happen unless they were attacking somebody else or whatever, something like that, or one of my friends, you know, whatever it is. You know, if there's like a good reason to do so, then yes, of course, obviously I would step in. I'm not a complete pacifist. I would always defend myself. But I don't see any reason to cross the threshold of violence, even if I'm in a bad argument with somebody or whatever it is, you know. Even if somebody's insulting me, saying things I don't like, it would never cross my mind to be like, okay, I've got to hit this person, right? To shut them up. Just wouldn't happen. Oh shit, we're getting to a bit of a muddy part here. I need to get up here. Oh, there we go. I haven't got very good shoes on for this, so. Right. So my mum's introduced the idea of violence. She's basically threatening to get my dad on me, yeah? So, I go out into the garden and put this TV into the caravan. I message a couple of people, message my sister, I message this ex-bishop to tell him what's going on. And in between this is a very weird little detail, but because I've been selling a lot of stuff, I had these MIDI DJ decks. In a past life, I was a drag queen DJ, and I had these decks, and I needed to sell them. They weren't great, but you know, I just thought, you know what, I'll sell these. And this guy was coming around to pick them up, and he come round. Just after my mum's had this big screaming argument with me, right? He comes around, picks it up, takes it. As I'm seeing him out of the gate, because I used the side gate so that they didn't have to come through the house and stuff, right, and actually see my mum or whatever. As I'm seeing him out the gate, I see my dad come into the garden, and I thought to myself, okay, my mum's already ginned up my dad to be angry at me, so I'm going to have to record this. So I get my camera on and I record it. And what happens is my dad attacks me, and I get it all on camera. He attacks me. He starts hitting me with a cord, a big electric cord. He unplugs the electric cord from the caravan, and he basically just approaches me with it. He's threatening to knock me out. He's threatening me with physical violence, and then he just starts hitting me with it. I didn't even do anything to him. I didn't actually approach him properly. He approached me to start attacking me with it. And I can even show you some of the marks. Here, let me get into some better light here, so I can actually see what I'm doing here. But you can actually see, I don't know if you can actually see that. I don't know if the camera's good enough, but there is, I can't even tell if that's showing up properly, but there's all marks. It's all been documented, okay? There's like a big scratch on my arm here. Don't know if you can see that, but you saw there's like a big plug. There's like a big plug thing on the end of it, and he's like trying to smash it over my head. He's like whipping me across the body with it and stuff, and hitting me with it. He probably hits me with it about 5 or 6 times or something like that, roughly. It's hard to remember exact numbers of things when these things are happening, because they're happening in the moment. I didn't get the first couple of strikes with it because he approached me so quickly. When I turned around to go into the garden, I saw him unplugging the thing, and I said to him, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, you can't live here with no fucking electric, can you?" And that's when I hit record on the thing, because obviously I had to get the phone out of my pocket and whatever. So it's all happening in split seconds, right? And but then the video starts with my dad already hitting me, right? That's how it starts. He's already hitting me with the cable. Now, I tell him, "You're going to jail, mate. You're going to prison." Well, not prison, sorry, jail. "You're going to jail. I'm phoning the police. You've attacked me with a weapon." And he goes, "I'm going to fucking knock you out. I'm going to fucking..." He just keeps repeating himself. He's like, "You're not living here. You're going to get the fuck out of my house." That's what he's saying. That's his whole energy, right? And so he takes the cord into the house. He puts it into the conservatory, and then he comes back towards me. So he's already attacked me, and now he's approaching me again. Okay, now when he's approaching me again and he's threatening me, he's threatening to knock my head off or whatever, then I say, "If you come near it," no, I said actually, "If you touch me again, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you," right? That's what I say to him. Well, I actually shouted it at him, but but it was a warning essentially. That was a warning to say I'm prepared to defend myself at this point. You've already attacked me. You're approaching me again. Now he seems to take this as an invitation to fight. So he's like, so he says, "Come on then," like that, right? And then so I thought, when he said "come on then," that's when I was like, okay, he's going to hit me. So I had to put my phone down. And at this point, this does make the video a bit ambiguous, because obviously in a split second I didn't think, oh, I should position this so this can all be seen and blah blah blah. Although I did think that later. I kicked myself. I was like, oh, maybe I could have, maybe very quickly, or maybe I could have angled it or whatever, but it was all happening too fast, so I couldn't think like that, right? So I put the phone down. You can't see anything, but you can hear everything, right? And then, so he said, come on then. I put the phone down, and I said, and then I got ready to fight because I knew he was going to hit me. And I screamed, come on then, like that in his face. And then he swung for me. And he swung for me probably like 3 times, but I think he only hit me once in the side of the head here. Then I was trying to move back to get distance, right? I was trying to move back to get distance because I wanted to get some good strikes on him. And but when I moved back, I think I fell over my feet or something. I fell over something. I don't know exactly what it was, but I fell over. And I knew I was falling, so I thought, okay, I'll grab hold of him, right? And in my head, this is not very good logic, by the way, not very good fight logic. But in my head, I thought, okay, I'll flip him over me, right? Because I didn't want to go down, knowing I was falling over. And if he stood up, he might be like kicking me or whatever, you know what I mean? So I just thought, okay, I need to pull him down. I thought maybe I can flip him over and I can get up faster than him, right? But that didn't work because he's heavier than me. He's smaller than me in height, but he is heavier than me. He's not fat or anything, and he's not muscular either, but he is, he has got some muscle, especially in his arms, because he does do quite physical work and stuff like that, right? So he's not the fittest specimen ever, but if he really loaded up a punch and hit you well, you know, it'd probably hurt quite a bit, yeah? Luckily, I was able to, obviously you can see my face, so I'm not all fucked up or anything. Luckily, I was able to take some of the heat off the punches because I think I was kind of rolling with them, right? I was kind of rolling with the punches, as they say, yeah. And which is good advice, by the way. You should totally do that if somebody's trying to punch you. And he right, sorry, it's getting a bit. The light's getting a bit funny, isn't it? So he's loaded. We fall down. I pull him down on top of me. I try to flip him, it doesn't work, okay? It didn't work, and I fell down on my right side, okay? I was kind of like lying on my right side. There's actually a bruise on my arse that corroborates my story, luckily. That's all been documented. But he starts punching me in the head when he's on top of me, right? So I'm like on the floor, like this, and he's like punching me in the head, right? And he's kind of like going bam, bam, bam. And I think he punches me about three times. I counted 3, but it might be 4. I know he probably swung more than that, but I only felt 3, I think. But he's punching me in the head, and again, I'm like kind of doing my best to kind of like roll with it, and I'm trying to get up as well at the same time. Now, when I get up off the floor, he's still coming at me. He's up too. He's coming at me. And he keeps trying to punch me, but at this point I had some distance. I was ready to do it, so I just started stepping in with jabs. So I was counter punching him basically. When he was like every time he loaded back to try and throw a punch, he'd like load back to try and throw a punch. As soon as he made that move, I'm a Dark Souls player, mate. You don't want to be fucking around. So he pulled back, and then I would just jump in straight away and like basically disarm him from being able to punch me. And obviously when you step in with a jab like that, the force of you, it's not the force of your arm, it's the force of your leg pushing you forward that is doing a lot of the damage, right? It's giving a lot of the force to it. And I was hitting with a few of them pretty heavy jabs, pretty fucking heavy. And I was hurting him. And I could see it was stunning him. He was like, whoa, what the hell? He didn't expect me to do that. And he still kept trying to come at me and hit me. And then I hit him with a right cross or two as well. I was doing some combos. I was doing some jabs and crosses. Just some basic boxing stuff. I'm not a boxer, by the way. I went many years ago when I was younger. I went for maybe like a couple of months. Not even that, probably. I'm not a big fighter, really. But I do watch a lot of UFC, so I've got a lot of this kind of like knowledge floating around in my brain. And I did grow up in rough places, by the way, and I've had quite a few fights in my life. I've never started a fight, but I've definitely finished some fights, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so my dad's like trying to come at me. I'm counter-punching him, right? And I'm hitting him with these jabs and a few crosses, and he stumbled. I hit him pretty hard with a big jab, and then I smacked him like bang, and he went down on his knees, and then he clutched his face, and he started crying, and he said, "I'm gonna call the police on you," and then he runs in the house. Now, this is all self-defense, obviously. He attacked me in the first melee, then we broke apart, and then he came back and attacked me again. So, completely legal. I was completely within my rights to defend myself in that way. Now, they have asked me, why didn't I leave? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Look, not everything is fucking super logical, okay? If it was a stranger, and I didn't have to live there and all this stuff, if it was a stranger, yeah, maybe I would have tried to get away more or something like that. I don't know. But because it was my living situation, I felt kind of trapped, and obviously I'm emotionally invested in this. This is my family. So it's not super logical. I'm also obviously a bit angry that this is even happening, that I've just been attacked, right? You know, people are kind of expecting you not to be annoyed by that. Like, what's that about? That's insane. What rational person would you ever... in no way, shape or form would I be looking at somebody who's just been attacked going, you should be perfectly calm right now. You should be thinking perfectly rationally in this moment, right now. That's just not how this shit works, man, right? So anyway, I'd been hitting him. I hit him with this cross. He goes down. He runs in the house and he's crying. And he calls the police. Now, I run into the caravan and I call the police. Now, the police arrive probably about 10 minutes after this all happens, 10, 15 minutes. The police arrive. Now, they've already spoken to my parents, and they come and speak to me. Obviously, I'm not shouting and screaming, but I am talking a lot. And I'm trying to explain the situation, and I show him the video. And the video completely backs up my version of events. It completely vindicates me on every level. All the evidence supports me. We upload, he sends me a link. It's like what the police do in this country. They have a link that you can send evidence like videos and pictures and blah, 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 to a link that goes directly to this police officer who then puts it into evidence and blah, 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 right? And so I'm sending him this stuff. I'm sending it over to him and it's uploading. And they seem at first to be kind of taking my side, right? They appear to be. But what I didn't know is that because they spoke to me and then they went out and spoke to my mum and dad. Now, they were basically bad-mouthing me to my mum and dad. And they were basically just saying that they think I'm entitled and all this kind of shit, yeah, and I'm just a fucking little prick. Basically, they didn't say that, but that's more or less what they were trying to get at, right? And they were trying to vindicate my mum and dad, and my dad's face is a bit fucked up, yeah? So I can see why they're making a bit of a snap decision. They're taking one look at me, and I had a big beard at the time. I look like a tramp, I look like a hobo. I don't even look too different now, to be honest, to be fair. Let's face it. But they're basically turning on me, and I didn't know. They made a snap decision about me, right? Now, it didn't matter what the evidence was, even though the evidence directly, that I showed him directly, supported my version of events. Although I will say the second fight, obviously you can only hear it, you can't necessarily see it. But my injuries and everything corroborate it, right? I wouldn't have a bruise on my arse unless we'd fallen down. So that part is obviously true. Anyway. So. basically, to cut a long story short, they arrest me. They arrest me on suspicion of assault. And they take me down in the police car and they put me in a cell. And that's where I spent, not last night, but the night before. That's where I was. I was in a cell. And the police thought I was guilty. There were some issues with the evidence that I'd uploaded. The next morning when I had an interview with a solicitor, which is like a lawyer in this country, criminal lawyer. He was my representative. And I was being interviewed by a police lady. And they told me that they hadn't been that mysteriously this evidence, they couldn't find it anywhere. They couldn't find it anywhere. And I said, it's on my phone. It's on my phone. And I'll happily send it to you again. I don't give a shit. Okay? This is self-defense, and you've arrested me, even though I've literally done nothing wrong. They were ready to they were ready for me to just be like either lying or whatever the fuck. I don't care. But then they realised actually they were dealing with a much deeper situation than they first thought. And so, by the way that I explained all this in the interview, by the way, the solicitor was quite impressed with me, actually. And I really didn't... This part of the story is very bizarre, by the way. It's very weird, but could be a blessing in disguise. I honestly don't know, but he said to me, like, have you ever considered becoming a lawyer? And I was like, not really. And he was like, why not? And I was just like, well, I've already been to university and I've already had my student loans and stuff, and I'm just too poor. I'm just too poor. I can't do something like that, okay? I can't support myself while going through another education. I wouldn't even be able to pay for it. So I don't know if I could even do that. And he said, this is literally how he said it, by the way. I'm going to tell you now, this is how he said it. He was like, you're not too poor. And then he gave me his card with his number on it. So I kind of got the implication that, like, he might help me out, or maybe the firm that he works for, I won't say who they are, but the firm, the law firm that he works for, which is actually a local law firm, they're quite well known, and they're probably worth millions, to be honest. They're probably worth millions. And I got the impression that maybe they might help me out. So I'm going to phone him soon. And see what that's about. If they can put me through university again to go and do a law degree and become a solicitor, and they take me on, or maybe they do some kind of apprenticeship or something. I don't know what it is. I don't even know what they would do, but I don't even care. If they can do something for me and they see potential in me, then fuck it, man. Why not take the opportunity with both hands, you know? I never fucking envisioned myself being a criminal lawyer, but fuck it, I would fucking do it, you know? I'd probably be pretty fucking good at it as well, I'm not gonna lie. I know that doesn't sound very humble, but I just I can't help it. I feel like I'll probably be pretty good at it. So yeah, they let me go. They let me go on bail, and they say, you know, you can, you're not allowed to go home, and you can't speak to your mum and dad for 6 weeks. So now I'm staying with my sister. It's put a bit of strain on her and her partner's relationship, and he's from America, so he might go away for a bit while I'm there, just to get himself together, because it's been quite a lot for him as well. It's been a lot for everyone. It's not just me. It's been a lot for the whole family, and everyone's kind of at their end of their tether with it, and I totally don't blame them for that, because it's just been getting out of hand. Yeah, but I totally appreciate what my sister's doing, and she's even saying to me, like, look, if he has to go, she says, I'm going to be a bit upset about it, but I don't blame you, and it's not a big deal. You know, we're not separating or anything like that. It's just that he struggles with somebody else being in his space. And to be fair, he's essentially immigrated to be with my sister. He has no friends and family here. And you know, we're going through all this shit and it's probably stressing him out, and he probably just needs to see some fucking family and stuff, you know. So that's all good, and it's a shame that it has to be this way and that it's kind of strained the relationship and we've gotten to this point, but there's not much else we can really do about it. It's either this or I go homeless, basically. I'm just going to have to go on the streets, and obviously my sister's not going to let that happen, so... right. So, that's where we're at, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm at my sister's, well, I'm not at my sister's literally right this second, I'm just walking around the hills close by. And I just thought I should kind of get this story out there. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got no money, I've got nowhere to stay, got no place, there's no help for men. My sister is acutely aware of this, by the way. My sister's very sympathetic to men's issues, I think obviously because she loves me, I'm a brother. She's seen the struggles that I've gone through, and you know, she's obviously passionate about women's issues too, don't get me wrong. She doesn't like hate women or anything, just because she loves men too. She just loves men too, okay? That's probably just the best way to put it. She loves men too. And she knows that there's no housing for men, that we don't get priority. She knows there's no shelters. She knows there's nothing that can really be done. You know, if you go on a waiting list for housing, you could be waiting a year or more, and that's if you're a woman with a child. Okay? So it's not easy. They can't do this thing easy. So basically, I'm just going to have to stay with her for 6 weeks, more or less. And I would like to move out. I really would like to move out. And I really would like to have my own place. I would really like to go back to university and retrain into something. But I can't do that. My battery's going low, so I'm going to have to end this video soon. But I would really like to do all that. I don't know how to do this. This is a bit of a cry for help, this video, to be honest with you. If you can share it, if you can share this video, I don't know if I can start a Kickstarter, or not a Kickstarter, sorry, a GoFundMe or something. I've never done something like that. I don't really want to beg for money. I've never begged for money in my life. Obviously, I might have to do that if I'm on the streets, which is a little bit of a different story. I'd have to do that to survive, but you know what? I'm at such a low point in my life. I'm at such a place that, you know, why shouldn't I ask for that? People give money to these women that are fucking shouting slurs at kids, giving money to fucking murdering teenagers and stuff, you know? It's an insane world we're living in right now. So I think I'm well within some level. If people are out there and they have a heart and they want to give me some help, I would really welcome that right now, actually. I'm getting emotional again. I'm laughing at myself because I'm getting emotional again. I would really appreciate the help. I don't know if it would that even happen? If I got $1 million off this video, would I squander it? No. I'd retrain, I'd start a business, I'd make something productive out of it. It's not just going to some random person so they can buy cars and go on holidays and stuff. I don't care about any of that. I literally do not fucking care about any of that. I'm not a materialistic person at all. I don't believe in any of that shit. It's stupid. I do anything and everything in my power. If you people out there are kind enough to fucking hell, to help me in this situation and help my family, I wouldn't squander it at all. Okay, I would not squander it. So if you could, I'm gonna have to finish this video, but fucking hell, I didn't want to. I've never asked anyone for anything before, so it feels a bit embarrassing, to be honest. It feels kind of embarrassing. Nobody wants to feel like this, but But at the end of the day, people get fucking money for all kinds of random shit. It's fucking pointless, and they spend it on pointless shit. I wouldn't do that, okay? I'm a smart guy. I'd invest it, I'd start businesses, I'd make jobs. I'd do something good with it. I'd put back into the community. So if you could find it in your heart to do that, I would really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm gonna end the video. Just a little bonus here at the end. Sorry, I was actually crying for a bit there. Luckily in the woods on my own, so nobody had to see my ugly face while I cry. But this is the view that I was trying to get to. It's beautiful out here, absolutely beautiful. But yeah, like I say, if any of you would be kind enough to help me out in this situation, I would really appreciate that. Thank you to everyone that watches this video and just hears my story. To be honest, I think more men need to be able to tell their stories and get ourselves out there, you know. We shouldn't have to suffer in silence. Alright, thank you. Hey guys, just a quick addendum, I guess, to this, because I was going through this last night just to see where I need to bleep out names and stuff like that, just to protect people's privacy and stuff. And I realised when I got to the end of the video, I hadn't really fully clarified what had happened with the police and how they'd been making me homeless, basically, because I got too emotional. I broke down. It didn't cross my mind to actually explain that a little with a little bit more clarity, so I just thought I'd kind of clear that up a little bit here at the end. But essentially what has happened is, because of the bail conditions, I can't go back to the property, which is where all my stuff is, and I can't speak to my mum and dad either. So because of this situation, the police, through the bail conditions, have effectively rendered me homeless. I have no fixed address, no fixed abode. I'm currently at my sister's. This is my sister's house. This is not a long-term solution. It's too small of a house for this to be the thing, and they are a couple. You know, it's just not a long-term solution. It's as simple as that. And so, yeah, I just wanted to kind of explain that a little bit, because I don't know if I made that clear. I think, and part of the reason this is happening is because there's just no real services for men in the UK when it comes to this kind of thing, even though homelessness is such a gendered thing towards men. There's just nothing for it, basically. So my sister is helping me for now, and I know she will do everything she can, but at the end of the day, this is just not a permanent thing. So so yeah, I just thought that I should make that clear, that is what is the case here. And the reason that they're doing this and I'm on bail, and that this isn't now a self-defense case, is because it takes a little bit for them to process and gather the evidence and to change it over, basically. And at the moment, I don't know exactly what my mum and dad are saying, but I'm getting the impression that they're trying to say that that I'm at fault, basically, and they want to press charges against me. Now, you can't press charges against someone that you've attacked, okay? And especially when all the evidence is in your favour, and I can't show the evidence. I looked it up because I was considering potentially putting the evidence in this video. I said when I was walking around that I wouldn't, but I've had more time to think now. It's tomorrow. It's the next day. And I can't do it because it could interfere with the case, and it could undermine what I'm doing. It could. There's several reasons not to do it. Okay, I looked it up on Grok, all right, and I checked the law and stuff like that, and it's just not a good idea to do it. Now, after the case, and he's found guilty, and he will be found guilty. The evidence is just overwhelming. It completely corroborates all my story. There's just no way. There's just no way it can possibly go the other way. So when that happens, and he is being, and he is found guilty, whether he pleads guilty or if he's found guilty, either way, it's going to happen. Then I can release it. Sorry, I just got a message from my sister there. Then I can release it, and I will release it, because I want people to know that this is real. I'm not trying to scam anybody, because one thing I became a bit conscious of last night after I was kind of thinking about it, and because when I started this video, it wasn't an idea to me to do a GoFundMe thing or anything like that. That idea literally came to me naturally at the end of the video when I was kind of ranting about, you know, what is that woman's name? You know, the woman that shouted the slur at the kid and whatever and all this stuff. You know, you see all these frivolous GoFundMes, and then you're going through something really serious, and people are just getting money left, right, and centre, and you're like, man, I'm literally, what the hell? So, you know what I mean? That kind of thing crossed my mind, and then all of a sudden I was just like, well, why don't I then? Why don't I just do that? I mean, I'm not expecting anything, by the way. I'm not expecting a great deal of money or anything like that. I'd be thankful for anything. If it's a few £100s, then that's still something to help me towards finding somewhere to stay. If it's thousands of pounds, again, even better, but somewhere I can stay, get myself on my feet while I'm looking for a job. If it's tens, if it's hundreds of thousands, then that's life-changing money that I can start to seriously put into something that I can then change, not only my own life, but potentially other people's lives in my life. I mean, if we get to places like 1 million, which I don't really anticipate to happen, by the way. I know that that's more like a delusion to say, but just bear with me here, humour me here. If there was a possibility that it would get to that kind of level, where I was looking at something really life-changing, like, you know, 800,000, 1 million, something like that, right? I just wanted to say, like, I wanted to clarify as well, like, what I would do with the money. When I said in the video I would do something with it, I want to be more specific. I don't want it to be vague. So I want you to know what kind of things I have in mind. And I'm not going to go through all my business ideas, but I've got a few, and I'll give them very briefly to you, just so you know I've got a solid idea here. I'm not just pulling things out of my arse. These are things that I've thought about many times over the years. So I live in a seaside town in North Wales, Rhyl. And it's quite well known for being very run down. It's actually one of the most deprived areas in Wales. In fact, I think it is the most deprived area in Wales, financially. And the high street is like a ghost town. And it is literally just desolate, basically. There used to be attractions. It used to be known as a seaside attraction place. There was a fairground. There was a great big swimming pool with slides. There was an outdoor swimming pool. There was all these attractions. There was donkeys and stuff that pull carriages up and down, and there was a serious reason to come to Rhyl as a holiday destination at one point. But now, just like a lot of places in the north of England and Wales and places like that, these places just get left behind. They get left behind. London and southern places and cities are pretty much the only places that seem to matter to the government. And places like Rhyl just get left to rot, essentially. And if I got money, like life-changing money, like £1 million, then I would use that for something good. I would start a business. Now, I have a few business ideas, but one that always came to me, and I'm a bit of a nerd. I'll just be upfront about that. I'm a bit of a nerd. And I'm big on my video games. I'm big on arcade games. When I was a kid, when we used to go on holiday to Rhyl, when I was a kid, we used to go to the arcades, and the arcades are well known in Rhyl on the seafront. And we'd go there, and they used to have actual games. They used to have Street Fighter, you know, Metal Slug. They'd have in there. They'd have Mortal Kombat. They'd have racing games. They'd have I'm trying to think of you know what I'm talking about. The classic arcade game, Pac-Man, all this stuff. They'd have all the classic stuff, right? And it was awesome. We'd loved going there. It was a bit expensive because you'd have to pay like 50p, and at the time when I was like, what, 7 or 8, 50p was a bit of money back then. It's fucking nothing now, but back then that was like a little bit of money, even though it seems like a small amount. But it was but it was like $50 for the American audience. It's kind of like that. But we're talking about like the late 90s here. So it could be a little bit expensive to go in the arcades, but it was great and we loved it. We loved it growing up. And over the years, now that we moved to Rill later in life, when I was about 11 or so, that's when we moved down there. And over the years, I've watched the arcades degrade. They're basically scams. They're just gambling holes now. Everything's a 2p machine, everything's a slot machine, everything's a claw grabber, everything's just designed to extract money from people and not actually give any real entertainment value. Not giving you a memory, not giving you an atmosphere of fun or anything like that. They've barely updated themselves. They even still play the same songs in the claw machines that they were playing when I was a kid over 20 years ago. So these things are designed to be scams, more or less. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be awesome if there was a proper arcade like there used to be? But not like where you have to pay on every machine. There's a new thing, there's a modern thing that they do in the UK here. There's a couple of them. I've been to some of them. There's one in Bury, there's one in Manchester, there's one in Liverpool. And there's probably others as well, but these are just the ones I know about. But there's not many of them, there's a few. But they're in cities mainly. And they're usually multi-story buildings with loads of classic arcade machines, dance machines, all that stuff, all the fun stuff. And you pay on the door, so you pay something like £20-30. I'd have to look into the prices to get into like marketing and like how to actually price everything, but it's roughly about £20-30. You pay on the door, you can stay as long as you want, and you can use all the machines for free after that. So you're basically just paying to go in there. It's like a play park or something. You're paying to go in so that you can just use all the arcade machines, and you can stay as long as you want. You basically treat it as a day out. And some of these places have bars in there as well where you can get drinks, so you can get a little bit loaded up and play some arcade machines with your friends and stuff. And I was just thinking of doing something like that, make a real attraction for Rill, because Rill has no attractions right now, more or less. It's got a couple of things that you could call attractions that the council have tried to set up, but they're not really. They don't bring people in. They thought they would. They actually got rid of real attractions to make way for these new ones that now don't bring anybody in because they're incompetent. Okay? I'm just going to have to be very blunt about that. So if I had life-changing money like that, this is the kind of thing I would do. I would set up something like this. I would maybe even set up a bar, a separate bar that would be more of a cultural hub, because all the bars and all the clubs and stuff like that are stuck in 2015. They're still playing The Killers. They're still playing I Got a Feeling, Black Eyed Peas and all this stuff from like 2010 and stuff. Honestly, it's dire. It's very dire in Rill. The scene, the culture... People are screaming out for it. They want what it is that I would offer. But nobody is willing to offer it. And nobody has the money, nobody wants to invest, nobody wants anything. But if I had money like that, I would do it. But not only this, I would do other things. I would probably do youth programs for young lads, because there's just nothing for lads. There's just nothing for boys. And I see them hanging out on the high street in Rill. I see them hanging outside McDonald's, getting into mither, getting into trouble, getting thrown out of McDonald's, having fights around the corner and whatever. And just wrecking their lives because there's nothing to do. There's nothing. They're probably abused at home, terrible family life. They come out, take all the frustrations out. There's nothing to give them joy. There's nothing to give them a sense of hope or something that can push them forward. And I would love to give them that, because I never had that either. So I keep telling myself I'm not going to cry, and then every time I start saying something that I feel passionate about, it's hard, man. It's hard. I'm not trying to be a teary-eyed guy, okay? I'm usually fairly well put together, I'm not, crying all the time, but this has been very highly emotional and stressful, as you could probably understand. So I just wanted to clear up what is going on with me, okay, at the end, because I don't think I was being very clear. Like I say, the police have made me homeless, essentially, and that is why I'm making this video. That is why it's a cry for help. if I'm asking for money, I want to make sure that I'm asking for it with a clear vision that there's something I'm going to do with it. I'm not just going to spend it frivolously. So that's why I'm saying the things that I'm saying, okay? I'm not saying it because I expect to get all that money. I don't expect to get anything necessarily. But I'm going to do my hardest to get as many eyes on this as possible, because men shouldn't be suffering in silence. I believe that, and I've always believed that. I'm not the traditional man in certain respects. I am in some ways, and in other ways I'm not. And I feel very strongly that men should talk about how they feel, not in like necessarily how women do it, but I do think there is room for men to have that in their own way. And I would love to be a spearhead in figuring that out for men, helping figure out. At the moment, we've got certain things like men's sheds and stuff like that, but I think we can push these ideas a bit further. I think that we're heading into a time more people are starting to get aware of men's issues and stuff like that. More people are starting to have sympathies with it. There's still very strong pushback, very, very strong pushback. It's still very taboo. But it is waking up more. It's waking up more. And this issue with me is somewhat of a men's rights issue on this level because of the lack of services for men. And even the reason that I got arrested by the police is partly due to me being a man. Because my mum and everyone were crying and stuff and making themselves look sympathetic to the police because they spoke to them before they spoke to me. And I do believe that partly they saw a woman crying and they saw me being angry because I'd been attacked. And I wasn't shouting and screaming, but I was angry, obviously. And I was saying things like, I have rights to be here, which I do. There are laws about this. I'm not a tenant exactly, but we did have written and verbal agreements that I would be staying there, and all my stuff is there. So there's proof and evidence to show that we had agreements for me to be there. And I do have some level of rights to be there. They can't just evict me like that. They can't do that. It's not like a trespassing thing. So, so because I was saying that and I know my rights, they were saying to my mum and dad that I'm entitled and all this stuff. That's what they were coming at. And this is the kind of stuff that my mum and dad say about me, which is not true. I'm not an entitled person like that. So, yeah, it's just, I just thought I should add an addendum to this. It's gone on a bit longer than I thought it would. I thought I would just do this quickly, 5 minutes, but it's hard for me to get all my thoughts out sometimes. I'm a bit scatterbrained. It's amazing that I was able to even be as concise as I was yesterday on that thing. It's just I've been thinking about it so much. I'd been in the cell. I've been thinking about everything. So, anyway. So this isn't any longer than it needs to be anymore. I'll leave it there, but I just wanted to add an addendum just to make things a bit clearer, just make sure that people realise. Oh, and there was another thing that I wanted to say very quickly as well, and that is about if people believe that this might be a scam of some kind, or that like I'm making this up or just to get money or something like that, which does happen, and so I've got to be conscientious of that, okay? I know that that is a suspicion that people might have out there, and I've just got to be real about that. The way I've done certain things, there's certain things I can show. So I can't show the video evidence, I can't show the voice recording, but I can show pictures of my injuries. And that will corroborate some of my story, especially the bruise on my bum. So you will be able to see those pictures on the GoFundMe. Because I don't think I can put them on the video because it might get the video taken down, because obviously it's a picture of my bum, right? It's not my whole bum. You can see my arse crack, okay? It's a bit embarrassing. I don't want to have to be showing pictures of my bum, but it corroborates that we fell down, okay? I pulled him on top of me, so that it just corroborates part of my story, all right? So I can show that. I can show some of my injuries to show that this incident did occur. I can also... the other thing that to say that it isn't a scam is that I've not edited anything from that video or this one or anything. I've not done any edits, any cuts or anything. The only thing I'm bleeping out is names, and that's it, just to protect the identities of my family and stuff like that, which is for obvious reasons. I feel like everyone should be able to understand that, okay? Legal and just personal private reasons. I just don't want my sisters' names and all that stuff out there, okay? That's just, I shouldn't even have to explain that anymore. So, but that's the only thing I'm editing out. That's it. And you'll see that if you watch the whole video, you'll see that that is the only thing. There's no cuts, no nothing. That means I'm not reading from a script. I'm not doing double takes. I'm not stopping and starting, doing another take because I needed to get my story straight or anything like that. I don't need to get my story straight because it's the truth. It's already straight. So that's everything that needs to be said on that. But I just want to make it clear that, like, this is not a scam. This is not me just making things up. This is a legitimate situation that is happening. So I just thought I'd nip that in the bud before, because I just know what the internet is like. I've been on the internet since I was a kid. I know what the internet is like. I know how people are, their mentality. So I'd rather just say that. I probably will still have people saying it's fake anyway, but at the very least I've said this. So, and I've done my best to prove it. And like I say, in time, when the guilty verdict comes through, I will release everything, just so that people do have that peace of mind, that comfort of mind that their money went to something that was real. It wasn't just a bullshit thing, okay? And I won't be able to give like daily updates or anything like that necessarily, but I can give updates when things occur. So if I get the only other update I have to this situation is that my dad has been questioned. I don't know what he said. I don't know what's going to come from that necessarily, but he has been questioned, and I do know that. So, and he's been shown the video. He's been shown the evidence against him. Now, I don't know what he said in response to that. So we'll find out. But like I say, I can give updates when things occur. I just can't tell you when those things are going to occur. Legal things do take time, so that's as simple as that. Also, with the money, if I did get any money, obviously, of course, the main priority is finding somewhere for me to live. Obviously, I would do that. When I'm talking about the business stuff, that's like a long-term thing that I'm talking about here. So just, let's just make sure we're all on the same page there. Anyway, I've gone on way too long, man. I've gone on way too long, and this video is already very long. So thank you to everyone that watched the video. Thank you to everyone that shared it. Thank you to everyone that showed me support in this moment, whether it's monetarily or just sharing the video, whatever it is. I don't really care what it is. I just thank you so much, all of you. I want to say thank you to all my family that have supported me and helped me as well. And all I can do is just say thank you. And I want to say thank you to God as well, because I said a prayer when I was in that cell, and things changed after that prayer. I'm not normally a prayer person. I am a Christian, but I'm not really a prayer person. I'm a very unorthodox Christian. And but I felt a strong urge to pray, so I did. For like some guidance, for strength. And I also thanked him, even no matter what happens. Whether I'm on the path that I need punishment or they need punishment, I don't care. I said I'll take it either way, because that's what your will is. But since then, things have been happening, and I don't know what it is, man, but I just feel like it's going to sound really cringy. It's going to sound really, really cringy. And I know a lot of the atheists in the audiences are going to be really turned off by me saying this, but I'm not going to lie, I do feel like God is with me a bit here. And it feels weird to say. I've never said things like that in my life, to be honest with you. But it does honestly feel like that. There's just very unusual things going on at the moment. I just feel like I can't quite fully explain. It's not like miraculous. It's not supernatural, but it's just stuff that makes me go, I don't know. I can't even explain it, mate. I'm not going to try. I can't even explain it. I'm not going to try. But things are looking positive. And I feel confident about putting this out there. I was nervous about it first, but I feel confident about it now. So thank you to everyone. Thank you. Thank you to God. And hopefully next time that I make a video and update everybody, I have something more positive to say. So thank you very much.